Hi everybody! So today I just want to go through all the cool things that you can learn in geology. This isn't my whole collection, but I wanted to just take you on a tour of some of the things that I have collected over the years. Specifically, this is my collection for this year. My normal collection is still in my storage unit, which I will pull out for you guys. So one thing that we learn in geology is we find fossils. And when we find fossils, that tells us a lot about that animal, if that animal is here or no longer here, like dinosaurs, what time period they were from. We can even extract DNA from them, and from that DNA, we can tell what was related to it. So like the closest living relative to a dinosaur is our typical bird. And we wouldn't know that if we didn't analyze the DNA. So one thing that is also cool is we can also tell what they ate. So you don't know what this skull is of, but you can see that he had 2 eyes. I'm gendering him because it makes it a little bit easier for me to explain. But of course, we don't know the exact gender of this, and from his head, we probably won't know unless there is a particular thing that makes a male and a female different based on their skull, like humans and the pelvis. Human pelvis of females is structurally different than a human pelvis of a male. That is because females are not meant to, but they are able to carry babies. And in order to do so, their pelvis has to be able to move and open. So in order for that, the body of a female is made for that, and their pelvis is constructed for that. So those are all super cool things that we can learn just from our own bodies and other bodies. But again, I'm declaring he's a boy just so I can say he. From this, we know he has 2 eyes. These over here are ear bones. That would have been where his ears were. On the back, that would have been where his brainstem was. Now, his brain would have been inside of there. And right there, you can see his navel cavity from the inside. And you can see his teeth. From his teeth, we can gather what he ate. So, what do you think this guy was eating? Is he eating grass or meat or drinking just plant-filled water? What do you think? All right, well, think about a dog. Now, our typical dog eats dog food, which we have processed for them. But there are some dogs that live off of a raw diet. And what does that mean? It means that they're eating meat. They are typically carnivores. So what about wolves or coyotes? those mammals eat meat. They are carnivores. What about a cat? They have these very sharp canines, or a mountain lion, and that helps them shred apart meat. So just from this skeleton and his teeth, we know what he ate, what he could see, or how he could see, that he used a nose with a closed septum. It's the size of his brain, his ears, all sorts of things we can learn just from a skeleton. So this guy right here is a coyote skeleton. And I picked him up for you guys to see. I will bring it into the classroom, but because teeth typically are very delicate in skeletons, it's hard for there to find one that has all of the teeth. I'd prefer you just to look at it. Okay. So I'm gonna just set him back in his protective wrapping. Mainly because I also don't want him to lose his teeth. I'm very happy that I found one with all of its teeth. And of course, if my dogs got a hold of it, they would think that that skeleton is a chewing bone. Okay, let's see what else we can find. I'm sorry about the twinkling noises. Oh, we got some more fossils here. So these are snail shells. Fossilized snail shells. Now, what does it mean to be fossilized? It means that the structure was taken up by minerals and filled in, as well as minerals that are found in the skeletal structure. So like a shell is made up of calcium, and that calcium is more than likely represented in the white of the fossil. We also can see some black in there. So those are other minerals that have filled in this snail shell, and that made it where we can see it now in our time. This snail shell it's looking straight down. So if we were looking at it at this one right here from its side, that is what you would see. So you can see all of its segments, and that this was a very large snail shell. And if you flip it over, you can even see the other part of it, that it's a vertical slice, not a horizontal slice like this one. All right. What else do we have here? Okay, so from these as well, scientists can tell what time period they lived in, things that they ate, and such. But to me, they look like snail shells. That is what they look like to me. Now, what they actually were, and you can tell just a little bit right here that he had a body at one point. And he was more like a squid or an octopus. And show you an example of what we think he might have looked like. But because of his body was made of soft tissues, that doesn't fossilize well. So all we see is the snail-like structure. These are called ammonites. A little bit of information about ammonites is they look a lot like coiled snail shells. We're still talking about these. Trying to find the best way to show you. There we go. Okay. Ammonites look a lot like coiled snail shells, but they were actually sea predators, says our expert Rod Hebden. You tend to find them in sedimentary rock, which is rock that has been laid down in layers underwater, and that is in this particular case. Of course, sedimentary rock can be found on land as well, but this one is sedimentary rock underwater. Quarries and cliffs where this rock is being exposed can be good places to find them. The ammonite was a tentacled sea creature that lived between 400 and 66 million years ago, similar to today's Nautilus, but more closely related to octopuses and squid. All that we see these days is its curled shell, which was divided into sections. The creature lived in the newest, largest sections, walling off old segments of the shell as it grew, and using them to control buoyancy by filling them with gas. So they controlled their floating ability by filling the shell with gas. These fossils can be found in Dorset. You can see two polished ammonites at Arlington Court in Devon. I don't know where that is, but you can see them right here. Okay, now pull it out. And these two creatures are one of like the most common fossils that you can find. So it also makes them pretty cheap to purchase and affordable. However, this creature right here typically is very fragile. So oftentimes you'll find it where the segments are broken, and like on this one, see how you can see how he was broken at one point and he was actually much larger than this? To me, they look like silkworms or caterpillars. Yeah. All right, let's read about these guys. These guys are belemnites. If you find a bullet-shaped fossil, you could well have found the remnants of an ancient squid. These fossils are called belemnites, says our wildlife and countryside officer Pete Brash. The original creature was a 10-armed squid-like cephalopod related to the modern cuttlefish, and it lived in seas up until 66 million years ago, dying out at the same time as the dinosaurs. Soft tissue doesn't fossilize well, so the bit that is most commonly found as a fossil is its last fifth of the body, where the heavy calcite guard grew to balance the creature while swimming. Picture of this guy. Belemnites. You can find them in Brazil, it looks like. Okay, so this is what it would have looked like if it were alive today. Here's another example. So what you're actually seeing is that body that was the skeleton. It had calcium in the form of calcite, and that's how it fossilized. So that is what these guys are. We only get to see a portion of him. He was actually way bigger than this, swimming around. All right. What's next on our adventure? Ooh, we got a trilopod. Trilopods are also very common. This is a real one. Somewhere in here, I have a mold, and a mold was taken from a real one, but it would be like as if I went and I got cornstarch and I dropped this guy in the cornstarch, and then I poured, let's say cement, and I poured cement into the mold that I just took. And then I have a perfect replica of the trilopod. I really liked this one because you could see his two eyes. Isn't he cute? But look how tiny he is. That's my fingers. This was a tiny one. Typically, trilopods can vary in size. To me, they they remind me of potato bugs. Gonna get you some information on trilopods. The information that I gave you on the last two were from nationaltrust.org.uk. I just Googled commonly found fossils. Trilobites. Okay, trilobites. Trying to give you the best view of him while I read. Are a group of extinct marine arthropodian arthropods that form the class Trilobita. Trilobites form one of the earliest known groups of arthropods. Okay, here's a good one. Trilobite, any member of a group of extinct fossil arthropods easily recognized by their distinctive three-lobed, three-segmented form. Trilobites, exclusively marine animals, appeared at the beginning of the Cambrian period, about 542 million years ago, when they dominated the seas. Although they became less abundant in succeeding geological periods, a few forms persisted into the Permian Permian period, which ended 251 million years ago. Because trilobites appear fully developed in the Cambrian period, it appears likely that the ancestral trilobites originated during a Jacarian period, which was 630 million to 542 million years ago of Precambrian times. An organism that may be ancestral to the trilobites as well as to other arthropods may be represented by Spriginia. Sorry, it scrolled down. Which is known from Precambrian shallow water marine deposits in Australia. Trilobites are frequently used for stratigraphic correlations. Trilobites had 3 body lobes, 2 of which lay on each side of a longitudinal axial lobe. The trilobite's body was segmented and divided into 3 regions, head to tail. What we are seeing is the exoskeleton. Some were active predators, whereas others were scavengers. And still others probably just ate plankton, which is think of SpongeBob. Plankton is plankton. And he's basically a single cell plant-like, well, he's actually not single celled. He's they're multicellular, but they seem like a single cell because it kind of looks like a single cell. But they are plankton are a diverse collection of organisms that live in large bodies of water and are unable to swim against a current. The individual organisms constituting plankton are called plankters. They provide a crucial source of food for many small and large aquatic organisms like fish and whales. Okay, there are 2 main types of plankton: phytoplankton, which are plants, and zooplankton, which are animals. So that would be why I'm confused. Zooplankton and other small marine creatures eat phytoplankton and then become food for fish, crustaceans, or other large species. So that's why I'm confused. Plankton on SpongeBob would be, I believe, an example of a phytoplankton. Okay, let me show you what trilobites look like on the computer, since I don't have one that looks like this. Okay. All right, so tiny little creature is the one I have. Somewhere in here I have a mold. I got really excited over the Annamites and how they formed with the different minerals, so I got many of them. I really liked how you could see the individual segments. Okay, so that means that my mold has got to be in this one. I actually have two molds. Okay, so with a mold, you can see a little bit better their legs and their form. Aren't they cool? I think they're fascinating. If I was to have any fossil as a pet, I would choose a trilobite. Okay, and then last item on our tour, which I have not yet opened, so this will be a surprise to both me and you, is I got a large geode. And geodes are rocks that have minerals formed in the inside of them. And you can find these and have them broken open, or you can buy it unbroken and break it yourself. This is a pretty one. So all of those are crystals. You can see the reflection. Gillian, I have a favor. Can you come shine a flashlight into my geode? Yes. So they can see the crystals. Because right now, all I'm seeing is a bunch of white. It looks like salt. See all the glistening? Typically, geodes are found in caves. Hold on, I have one more, Killian. Okay. Sometimes a cave is a giant geode. That's how I think of it. Very pretty. I definitely like this one more than the other side. All right, so that is all I have to show you for today's adventure. And look forward to what I show you next time. Don't forget to mark your participation by posting in a emoji in Slack or commenting on this video in the assignment or posting in the stream that you are participating. Don't forget to tell me which class so that I can mark it. And thank you for watching.